Hey, real quick tip on feeding pollen patties to your bees. I'm down here in South Florida. I know it's spring in a lot of places. I deal with small hive beetles and wax moth every month of the year. Let me show you how I feed pollen patties. Cut your pollen in half. So these are normally big squares. So I don't feed a whole square I'm using 5-frame nukes here. Even my 10-frame hives, I don't feed a whole square at a time. Cut it in half. Cut it in thirds if you want. Feed just a little bit so your bees will eat all of the pollen patty within maybe 2-3 days, so that way you don't have to worry about hive beetles at all. Last tip is to roll your pollen patty into a different shape. Hive beetles will get underneath the pollen patty when it sits flat, and the bees can't get underneath here. So instead of using a square, you can roll it up into a ball, or what I like to do is roll it into a long rope like Play-Doh. You got to take the paper off first, or at least I do. You don't have to. The bees will remove it, but I try to help the bees out as best as I can. So I peel the plastic off. Let me go ahead and do that now. Okay, so this is pretty much what I got. I just tried to take as much of the paper off as I could. If you can't take the paper off, if it's too difficult, don't worry about it. Again, it's not a big deal. The bees will chew through pretty much anything. So I take the pollen patty here like this, take off a little piece like that. And again, just like Play-Doh, make a little ball, roll it into your hands like this. You can set it on a hive top if you want. And then I'm just gonna make a rope. I try to make it at least as thick as the space in between the frames. So not too thin, not too thick, like that. See, nice long rope. So you can cut this rope in half if you want, like that. I'm going to take this other piece I have. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to rip it in half, roll it into a rope. Okay, nice little rope. Okay, now let's feed it to the bees. So let's go ahead and feed these bees. I'm not using any smoke. Just lay it right here. Lay it right in between the gaps of the frames. If a little piece falls down like that, that's no big deal. You can kind of bend it end and kind of prop it up there if you want. Let's lay this piece right here like this. Yeah, you can just kind of shake it. Bees get out of the way. But if you put it in between the seams, the bees can get underneath it, on the sides of it, and on top of it. So if a small hive beetle wants to hide under here, good luck. I mean, they can. Hive beetles are really problematic in some areas. I can understand that. Here in South Florida, they get bad if you don't manage your bees. If you don't know how to keep a strong, condensed, well-populated box, you're always going to lose hives to wax moth, hive beetles, ants. Doesn't matter the pest. I try to put it right in the center of the brood nest. We'll slide this one down a little bit. So just like that. See, the bees are already over it. Really gentle bees. And again, this was a amount, all of this was half of a patty. So if you have lots of hives, you can do this up ahead of time. You can feed just a little rope, maybe one. Maybe if you have a small mating nuke, you can give them a little piece at a time. But being that these girls here, they're a good healthy colony, real young queen. I pulled brood frames out not too long ago, so they're looking to rebuild. So this will help with their brood production. This is what, Monday? So if I can remember, I'll try to come back here on Wednesday and I'll do a video and we'll see how much of this patty is left. So I hope that helps. Have a good evening and good luck to your bees.